Monday night. Cowboys-Chargers, what are you watching?
I think it's self-explanatory how the Cowboys respond to getting throttled on Sunday Night Football 42-10 to the San Francisco 49ers. I've heard a lot of chatter coming out of Dallas. Don't show me or don't tell me, show me what you're made of and that you can make up for that display that you had on Sunday Night Football. Monday Night Football this time, though.
Yeah, it's a fascinating game in so many different ways. Last week in football, we had the Hackett Bowl. This week, the Kellen Moore Bowl, for whatever that's worth. The bottom line of it is, and I promised you this in the tease if you could decipher it through all of the rhyming, that Dan is going to explain exactly what is wrong with that Cowboys offense. The whole country, every football fan is wondering, what is wrong with the Dallas offense? Well, move a little closer to the TV. Dan, what is it?
Yeah, number one, Dallas, if you're not going to use CeeDee Lamb as a number one wide receiver, trade him. Why did you take him in the first round? I'm not telling everybody that this guy's Stephon Diggs or Jamar Chase, but let's use him in that aspect. Let's move him around. Let's make sure he's getting touches. Let's create matchups for him, because if you're not going to do that, there's no point of having him on your football team. Trade him now to a contender or a team and get other pieces for him. So first of all, we have to start with making sure that we treat him or try to get him the ball as a number one wide receiver. Number two, the spacing and details of your pass game are awful. That has to get fixed. If you're going to play in the West Coast offense, which is what Mike McCarthy wants to do, it is predicated on spacing, timing, and rhythm. That is not on your tape. Certainly hasn't been in the last couple weeks. So the motivation isn't to go beat the Chargers. The motivation is to go get that fixed and get people on the field that are going to consistently do that for Dak Prescott. The third thing is this. I heard Jerry Jones say this the other day. Well, I don't necessarily want to throw the ball to just CeeDee Lamb because I want to use our tight ends and backs. That's awesome. You can't do that in the NFL standstill football. It sounds like you want ball distribution offense. I love it. You can't do ball distribution offense standstill in the league. Ball distribution offenses, Kansas City Chiefs, the Miami Dolphins, the team that just blew your doors off, the San Francisco 49ers, they don't stand still. They're moving guys around. So if this offense is going to actually, there's no way that the Cowboys can look across the field on Sunday night and be like, no, our offense can go do that. No, you can't. Not just lining up in normal formations. They have to get, or at least try to get the ball to CeeDee Lamb. They got to move people on offense if they're going to be ball distribution centric. And then the details and the spacing of their pass game have to get better.
Let me make sure we're clear on standstill. You're talking about all that pre-snap movement, or the pre-snap motion, the stuff that they call eye candy these days. They don't do any of that. Now, I've heard that Aaron Rodgers doesn't like that, which I go back to, again, that Mike McCarthy. Like that's what they did together all those years. That was a standstill offense. He was one of the greatest quarterbacks of all time. They made it work. What you're telling us is that they can't do what they think they want to do if they're not using some of that eye candy.
Absolutely. Greeny, the only offense that's like capable of doing that, I think, is Cincinnati, and even I think they should do more of it. But any offense right now, if you're going to be a ball distribution-centric offense, meaning kind of get the ball out to all your different pieces, you have to move.
And the reason why you want to move guys around and have eye candy and the motions and the shifts is because everyone is not the caliber of CeeDee Lamb.
Correct.
Right? So if you have deficiencies in other players' football game, you want to create things from them. That's why you see these masterminds from an offensive standpoint. When you look at a Miami, when you look at a Sean McVay, you look at all these other teams being able to do it at a high level, it's because they understand that not all their guys are a Jamar Chase or a Stephon Diggs or a number one wide receiver. So you have to create them open lanes for those guys to be able to get open. And
they treat CeeDee Lamb like he's a number 3 wideout. They do. They don't treat him like a number 1. Whether he is one of those elite wideouts or not, they don't treat him that way. They treat him like he's a number 3.
You're supposed to bend to get your playmaker to football.
So what do you see? You're an offensive lineman, D. Wood. As you analyze that Cowboys offense, which clearly has been a disappointment to this point, what do you see as the problem? What do they do to fix it?
They line up like it's almost an arrogance, like our guys are just better than your guys. That's what you see when you watch the Dallas Cowboys offensively. They didn't even talk about like Brandon Cooks. Like, why you trade Brandon Cooks? Why you trade for Brandon Cooks?
Right.
You're not even using him. All you do is just run go routes with Brandon Cooks. Right. Like he's more a diverse guy than just running go routes down the field or Tony Pollard. Like. Yeah. The dude is a legitimate playmaker at the running back spot. You don't use him to try to create matchups. So to me, as much as we want to talk about Dak, this is more so on Mike McCarthy and how he's able to develop a game plan and utilize his pieces.
Yeah, because when you watch that after the game, the post-game interviews, CeeDee Lamb they all look shell-shocked. But CeeDee Lamb is asked about the offensive identity of the team, and he's like, yeah, I don't know. what we are. And Mike McCarthy and the players and Dak and CD talked about how this offense under Mike McCarthy's play calling was going to be aggressive. And we said, okay. Now, a few days ago, they get beat by the 49ers, and Mike McCarthy is saying, you know, we want to score as many points as other people, but make no mistake about it. Like, we play to our defense. Like, that's the strength of our team. You know, so it is a strength, but we also, the messaging just seems very different from what they set out.
Here's the problem. You talk about you play. I don't care what Dallas has on defense. They're not holding down a San Francisco 49ers.
Well, I know that. Tell
They're
Mike
not
don't tell me.
like,
tell Mike McCarthy.
That's why, like, this whole notion of Kellen Moore, you know, they dispensing of Kellen Moore, getting him out there, you know, him getting fired from the Dallas Cowboys, ultimately was a big mistake because that offense under Kellen Moore was much more diverse, much more explosive, and it was scoring a lot more points.
When that defense has to sort of play honest, if they're playing from behind, then they're a good defense, but they're not that super crazy, you know, getting after the quarterback thing. And against good teams, they've not, and frankly, Arizona may not even be that good of a team. They've not been able to get that lead with their offense.
They absolutely miss Trayvon Diggs.
Yeah.
Yes.
And they still have to figure out how good they are going to be without him.
Yeah.
Here's the thing when it comes to the Cowboys offense. I don't know if you guys have seen it. Have you seen the Fred Warner piece where he's talking about, do you remember the play? It's the mesh play on third down the other night when Fred Warner like stops the pass and then goes and sacks Dak Prescott?
Yeah.
Fred Warner's talking about, I knew exactly what was coming before the play. The number one thing you can't be on offense is predictable.
Yeah.
I don't care if you want to play to the strength of your defense. I get all that. You can still be unpredictable offensively and still play to the strength of your defense. You know, I came on Monday Morning Greeny and I was like, this is the worst performance I've seen during Dak's tenure as the Cowboys. And it wasn't just a Dak thing. Dak didn't play good, but it was in totality just a massive disappointment. And when other teams know more than likely what is coming, you don't have much of a chance for success.
Super quick.
Isn't that why Mike McCarthy got let go in Green Bay? Because of his stale play calling.
Ultimately.
Stale play calling. It's stale.
Back on Get Up, bottom of the hour, time for QB Quick Reads with our QB, Dan Orlovsky. Danny, is Jalen Hurts back in MVP form?
Yes. One, because they didn't have to play in torrential downpours. And two, the protection and the connection with Dallas Goedert was awesome. And then A.J. Brown. You go back to thinking this offensive line provides pockets for Jalen Hurts that are just so rare. And then that throw right before the half is off the charts. And then the one-hander to A.J. Brown. I want them to get the ball to Devontae Smith just a little bit more, but the protection and Goddard and A.J. Brown, it was there for Jalen Hurts.
It seemed like they were intentional about getting the ball to Dallas Goedert last week.
Early in the game.
Early in the game, yeah, absolutely.
Is he back in MVP form? D. Wood, is he the MVP right now, Jalen
No, he's
Hurts?
not the MVP. No. Like Brock Purdy, to me, is the MVP. There's a couple quarterbacks I would probably place above Jalen Hurts, but Jalen Hurts is ascending right now.
Hopefully not this weekend against the Jets. Meantime, he just mentioned Brock Purdy. Dan, is Brock Purdy an elite quarterback?
Absolutely. I mean, I said this for 2 weeks now. He's changed Kyle Shanahan's offense. This stretch is why. 3rd and 4, gets completion, holding penalty becomes 3rd and 14. Instead of throwing a screen, which is what Kyle usually does, he throws a massive in-breaker to Deebo Samuel. Kyle Shanahan changes the way he calls games because of Brock Purdy's ability to make the right decision. He has more trust in Brock Purdy than any quarterback that he's ever had, and this offense is very dynamic under it because the ball never gets given to the other team, and it's always going to the right spot.
Harry, is San Francisco's offense the most dangerous in the whole NFL?
I'm going to go yes, and it starts with Brock Purdy. You talk about a guy that's completing 72% of his passes. Dan just mentioned he doesn't give it to the other team. But you look at Kyle Shanahan, an elite play caller, and the way he's calling games for Brock Purdy and allowing him to be himself. But they have what I call it players, a handful of guys that can do multiple different things on the football field. When you look at Kyle Juszczyk, George Kittle, also Deebo Samuel, and Christian McCaffrey, that says a lot.
It is quite literally sweeping the nation. A little later, we're going to judge all of the That Boy badge that we've been getting all over the place. I've been working on mine. You have to unbutton the jacket.
Unbutton the jacket.
Right? I got to unbutton
Give you a little space.
Boy, bang.
That
Feel pretty good about it.
All right, Greedy.
Hey, Greedy!
Bang. Boy, bang. I'm working on it. All right, you do it.
All right, number one on the list this week.
Don't make that face.
up in Mizzou. LSU quarterback Jaden Daniels, first touchdown pass to Smith Jr. Unbelievable. Then this 35-yard run. Oh, my goodness. If he's not on your Heisman watch list, you better borrow Greenie's glasses because they got a lot of damn medicine in it. Because we know that boy bad. Then he scrambles to the left, finds Malik Neighbors, and then right here, final touchdown. 4 touchdowns total. You want to know why? You want to know why, Dio? Because that boy bad. Then we're going to go number 2 on the list. We're going to go this guy, Fred Warner. He's coming on my radio show today. Freddie and Harry, 3 p.m. to 7 p.m. Eastern time, ladies and gentlemen. But that boy bad. Look at Fred Warner. Watch him. Watch him cover the drag route. Watch him go sack the quarterback. He had a sack. He had a forced fumble. He had an interception. He led the team in tackles. There go the interception right there. Fred Warner, my goodness, that boy bad. Now we're gonna go to number 3, Greenie. Oh my goodness. This man said he's 7-Eleven. He's always open. He told no lies. When he was in his mother's womb and came out, damn it, he should have been double teamed at that moment. It should have been DBs and doctors right there double team him because he's always wide open. Now, how does he get this wide open? It doesn't matter, Joe Burrow. Get him the damn football. Shout out to Keyshawn. Get him the damn ball. Look at this touchdown right here. 3 touchdowns, 15 catches, 192 yards, 3 tubs. Why? Because that boy bad, ladies and gentlemen.
Outstanding. Now, a little bit later, we're going to judge some of the That Boy bads that we've been getting, and we'll tell you how you can become a part of America's fastest growing segment.